How are you? Are you
Good,
excited?
good.
Feeling
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, it's kind of a drive, but it's.
Oh, where are you
worth it.
coming from?
Pasadena.
Ooh, boy. That is not kinda.
Shit, that is a drive.
That's a big drive.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Whoa.
Any lengths?
Angel came along for the ride. Good for you, bro.
Right.
That's
carpool.
That's companionship. That's
And
a good.
carpool, or else
No,
it'd
but that's
be-
a good friend.
For sure.
Most definitely, yeah. I was like, I'm not doing this alone.
No, there's no chance, bro.
He came
big shout
through.
out to Angel, man. For sure, he came through.
Yeah, we had another guest like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
came
yeah.
from the valley.
That was gnarly.
4-hour drive in traffic.
Yeah.
Traffic
Hour
can
and
be
a half.
gnarly, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, some
LA
spots were
what-
just like stuck for like a while. Like, man, are we ever gonna get out of this?
Oh, right.
405 or 5? Where were you coming
I
down?
think it was a 5.
The 5. Terrible.
Horrible.
Well, hey guys, I see Julian. What's going on, my man?
Hi, Matt.
I see G's up in here.
Charlie.
Joelle, of course. Deborah.
This meeting is being recorded.
Whoa, the meeting's being recorded, guys.
Oh, God. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Technical.
Technical
You know.
difficulties. Jerry, what's going on? Patrick B. Chad and Amy.
Chad and Amy.
I don't know if I like Natalie and Shane having their computers in front of them because they're not like taught. They don't like Shane's not paying attention to
I am.
anything except for his little.
I'm trying to get on.
Whoa, then you're having wow.
You should probably wait until the guest starts talking and maybe talk to our guests that are already on.
It's all good. It's all good.
You got Jesse up
Hey,
in there.
everybody. Hey, Joelle. Deborah up there. Deborah stretching her
Bon
neck.
Bon.
Good job, Deborah. Stretch that neck out. Good one.
There you go. How you guys all doing?
Chad McIntyre. How you doing, bro? How you doing, Amy? Jerry.
Jesse's back at it, shirtless
Patrick
again. I see
Slayer.
the summer's coming back, and whoa, look at Jesse!
Case
Damn.
Sailor. Case
Gina?
Sailor.
Okay, Jesse, we see you.
Francesca. How you doing? Katie.
Katie, Sebastian,
Jessica
Chuck
Gutierrez.
Zanzow.
Anthony G. Damon Miranda.
Who's
Lisa.
got 108?
No,
Jennifer,
1108.
1808.
Wait, 1808. I thought it was 11.
1808. That's a long
1808.
time, man. That's some days in a row right there. I think Jennifer's coming out soon to visit us, I believe.
Jennifer.
I think Coach Christian is trying to too.
Yeah.
Yep, it says right there, I will be with you.
Yeah.
We're excited for that.
Are we?
Yep.
Ooh, our girl Lauren is on here. I see you, girl. I see you.
Oh, Lauren is who I was talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Where is she?
She's right. I see her. I'm looking at her right now. She's eating.
She's oh.
I love you. All right.
And then there's Matt, just chilling, chilling like he always is.
Patrick B.
Let's
Coach
get this
Christian's
part. Oh,
right there.
wait. Look who else is in here, guys.
Who?
Well, it's
Oh, Damien's on here too.
Their name is K Slayer tonight, but that's the CSC program in the house right there.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, yeah. That's
The ladies
good
are
eye.
in the house tonight.
I like that. Oh, my girl Shannon. I see you, girl. She's in here from the Nem house.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this is awesome. Just for the viewers, where do you find the link is in the bio, right? That's
Correct.
on the
The link is in the bio. It's in the link tree, Shane. Shane can't connect.
I mean, the fact that he
Like,
can't connect
bro.
to our meeting is like concerning. Like big time.
He got himself an iPad.
And has no idea how to use it. I'd gladly take
This
away
has been
from you.
going on for like 5 minutes already.
It has been. There we go.
Are you on?
I'm almost on. It says meeting ID. I don't know what that means. There we go. Join.
Join. There you go.
And we're in.
And we have content.
Well, we got an amazing guest tonight.
Yeah, I could tell he's going to be good. I don't know. It's just a feeling I'm
Because
getting.
he's not shy.
No.
No, you walk right in
No.
here
Yeah.
and
He's ready to rock and roll.
You know,
Totally.
honestly, I wasn't prepared for the set, but it's cool. I really like the lights, everything, the microphone. Shoo.
So are you telling me right
yes,
now that,
compliments get you everything.
are you telling me right now that Fausto didn't
Break it
That
down.
was-
let you know
studio?
what you were walking into?
Not
he
in
just
this
said,
detail. He said, "Hey, you want to come and speak at this meeting?" I'm like, "For sure, I got you."
Nice.
nice.
Nice. Beautiful.
Half the people that walk in think they're walking
no.
into a live
Real
meeting.
live meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
Shannon, don't feed the squirrel.
What did
She
Shannon
said
say?
she can't wait for the next shopping vlog because you're a mess. Okay, she didn't say mess. She just said
Thanks, Shannon. I do my best. You know what I mean?
Last week's vlog was kind of boring.
Shopping's not
That's because
easy.
I wasn't there.
Shane
I
just
had to
like
go by myself.
all he said was melons. That was it.
I was told to cool down before we went in. Next week, I'm going to let loose.
Next week.
Well, here's the thing. You can still act a fool.
Yeah.
You just can't do it when there's 90 people around because So, guys, we got kicked out we're no longer allowed to vlog inside of Costco anymore. We got kicked out. We tried to do it the right way. We went and put in a media request. We got denied. They said Shane makes way too much trouble
Yeah.
with the
No bueno.
customers.
Not good. Not
But hey,
good.
there's always a way around it.
Yeah.
We had our full camera crew going in. Now we just do it on the phone, and Emily pretends like she's texting as we walk by.
Yeah.
So we're vlogging anyways. I hear people laughing.
Yeah,
So-
there are people left and having a fun time. That's what this place is. This is a house of fun. All right, let's get started, bro. It's
Or a house of
6:03,
madness.
6:04.
It's 6:07.
That late already?
Yeah. So why don't you tell everybody why this all exists?
So this is the Hopeaholics Recovery Out Loud, and this started actually was just Chad and myself a number of years ago, and the reason for that starting was Chad had a tragedy in his life. His daughter found her love dead from a fentanyl poisoning. One pill can kill, and it did. And from that great tragedy came this incredible message
Yeah, of hope.
of hope to people, you know what I mean? And I'm going to go a step further because it's not only that. It's not only a message. There's action behind that message. You see, when people need help and they can't afford it, he allows them to come into treatment. So it's not a matter of just, hey, mouth, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's actual work being done here, which is just incredible. Yeah.
And breaking the stigma
Yeah.
and letting people know they're not alone. Even
Yeah.
though we like to isolate and think that we are, but we're not. And the whole thing is to break that and have the open conversation of what's really
Going
what
on.
can really happen
Yeah.
if you're willing to surrender and get help.
And sometimes it's really hard to come to terms that something so tragic has to happen for something so great and helpful
Yeah.
to come through.
Yeah.
Because I hear stories like, not like that, but like stories like that, like tragic stories that inspire.
Yeah.
Right? And that
Yes.
change multiple people's lives.
Yes.
I mean, you can turn your pain into something beautiful. You can turn pain into triumph. You know,
Yeah,
that's-
Yeah.
you can, but I'll tell you something. When Wayne Gretzky was playing hockey, there was no one walking up to him and go, "Oh, I inspired to be Wayne Gretzky." But if you're running for your son or you're injured, I mean, then it's inspiration. But if you're a healthy person, you know what I'm trying to say?
yeah.
Like, people don't really take that as inspiration so much as they do if you're in a wheelchair or you have one leg or you're
I don't
injured.
think so.
You don't
I
think?
think everybody finds their inspiration in many different levels. I mean, you can get inspired by somebody that is just constantly getting after it every single day. Like, how did they do it? They show up, they put one foot in front
All
of
right,
the other.
yeah. I hear that.
You
I
know?
hear that. Yeah, I do. You're right. You opened my eyes just now. Thank you.
Well, let's get this party started. And
This is Ivan.
Ivan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ivan, you got about 20 minutes. You're going to share your experience, strength, and hope. There will be a clock up there. It's right up there. It started running right now.
All right.
And it'll ding in your ears when that 20 minutes is up.
Yeah.
Your camera is right behind Natalie. So if you talk to her and I, it looks like you're talking to everybody.
That's right.
So you're up, Ivan. Thank you
go.
for coming.
Yeah.
No problem. Thanks for having me, first of all. Right? I really enjoy being here. This set is amazing. So, my name is Ivan Villasenor. Right? I come from what I thought was a normal family. You know, my dad, he loved to drink, smoke meth, smoke PCP. You know, my mom loved to drink, drop acid and smoke meth. Right? So it was kind of an entertaining household growing up. 7 sisters, 2 brothers,
Wow.
In a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. So it was really normal to me. I didn't see nothing wrong with it until I started going to school. Once I got the age I started going to school, started going to my friends' houses, seeing what they have. I would go to they have their mom making dinner. They had food in the fridge. Dad comes home from work. they would have their own room or like a Nintendo 64, a TV, VHS. They had all these different things. And it really made me take a look at myself like, why don't I have these? Right? What's wrong with me? You know, does my family not love me? Am I not worth these things? You know, am I just unlovable? And it really took me a while to comprehend that. And one of the earliest memories I have is my dad was the Bible thumper. You know, so he would be high as a kite, you know, Bible in one hand,
Wow.
pipe in the other,
Wow.
and just constantly telling me that God works in mysterious ways. You know, he has a plan for everything. This is all part of his design. And as a child, like, how am I supposed to understand that?
Yeah.
Well, God made me to suffer then. You know, God put me in this position to live this kind of life that was just pain and suffering. And I got angry. I got resentful. I was like, you know what? Well, fuck people, fuck my family, fuck my friends, fuck the authority, you know, fuck God, fuck religion. I don't need any of that. And I was really alone for a long time. For a long time, I was just kind of wandering the halls of middle school until I turned probably around 11, 12 years old. I was introduced to a group of people who were just as angry as me, just as violent as I was, as hateful, you know, and had all the same quorums with authority and religion as I did. Well, I was introduced to punk rock. You know, here were people who were just angry, right? Who had music to back it up. Well, being in the punk rock society, right, living that lifestyle meant two things. I had a drink and I had a fight. Well, I do that anyways, right? So I'm gonna be the most punk rock person you can find. And immediately, I'm the drunkest person at the parties. I'm passing out halfway through. I'm getting into fights everywhere we go. And where does that land me? 13 years old, first time ever getting arrested. You know, and I thought that was cool. You know, down in juvenile hall, locked up, I'm cool as shit. So when I get out, I just keep that cycle going. Get arrested when I'm 14, a couple months in, get out for 2 months, go back in for 6 months, get out for 3 months, go back in for 9 months, until I was awarded to the state at the age of 16. You know, the judges said, Ivan, your parents can't control you. The school can't control you. You know, so we're going to give you to the state until you start to act right. I stayed there until I was like 18, got out a little after I turned 18. And it's the first time I ever really looked at my life, right? I was like, I'm 18 years old, never had a girlfriend, have no education, no job experience. I don't really know what to do with my life. I see all my friends going to school, having families, you know, going to work. What am I supposed to do? Well, I'm going to do the only thing I know how to do. I'm going to drink and I'm going to fight. So that's what I kept doing. At 20 years old, it got pretty bad. I was waking up every day, shaking. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. You know, I was withdrawing constantly. And I didn't know what to do about my alcoholism. Because I knew I was an alcoholic. No question about that. I knew I was an alcoholic. But then I started noticing, like, you know what? Whenever I smoke meth, I don't drink. I don't eat. I don't sleep. So it kind of solves a lot of my problems. So I'm just going to start smoking a lot of meth. You know, and that's exactly what I did. It helped out that my dad sold meth, so I had easy access to it. So I put down the bottle and I picked up the pipe. And things got out of hand pretty quickly. You know, I turned into that guy that you see or you hear 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm in my backyard, music playing, friends coming over. I have a chainsaw. I'm trying to cut the rim off a tire so I can go and sell it, right? And I'm just going. I'm out of hand. You know, my family started to tell me all these different things, like things I didn't want to hear, things I didn't want them to tell me. Like, Ivan, are you okay? You know, do you need some help? Maybe you should slow down, right? Maybe you should sleep. I'm like, what the hell, dude? I don't want to hear this shit. I'm living my life. I'm having fun. Dude, this is what God wanted me to do. And so I was like, you know what? I don't need this. I'm going to go. I'm going to go live with some people who know how to party, who act like me, who drink like me, who smoke like me, who live like me. So I put all my stuff in a wheelbarrowed it down the street to my cousin's place. Well, my cousin lived underneath a bridge, right, in a tent community. And I remember telling him that I'm just going to leave my stuff here until I figure things out, right, until I come up with a plan to combat my addiction. Well, I never really came up with a plan. I spent the last 9 years living underneath that same bridge, right? The only time I was ever housed when I was in the county. So I just started this repeating cycle over and over again, getting out, going back in, getting out, going back in, homeless, incarcerated, homeless, incarcerated. And that was life. And I was okay with it, right? I was in acceptance because I remember my dad always telling me, you know, this is all part of God's plan. And God wants me to die in a tent underneath a bridge with a needle in my arm. And that's it. It wasn't until I was 29, 30 years old that I finally got arrested for the last time. You know, the judges told me straight up, Ivan, we're done with you. You're in here all the time. You're not learning anything. You're not getting any better. We're done. You're going to go upstate. You know, you're looking to 15 to 25 years, 85%. You know, and immediately I was like, dude, I can't do that. There's no way I can live that long like that, you know? And it's not because of the things that I would have to do while I was in there. It wasn't the lifestyle that I would have to live while I'm on the inside. It's the thought of having to do it sober, having to do it without drugs or alcohol. Because at this time, I already knew drugs and alcohol were my escape. You know, they're the way I deal with my life. Every time I got locked up, it was sitting there sober, thinking about all of my mistakes, every time I went wrong, all my decisions and where it led me, and just sitting there just hating myself. I couldn't do it. There's no way. So thankfully, somebody told me about asking for a drug program. You know, so I went to drug court, right? I fought them for 9 months until they finally said, yes, okay, you can get a drug program, but you're only getting this one drug program. If you mess up, that's it. I was like, okay, I won't mess up. Even though I knew I was lying through my teeth. My whole idea was, I'm going to go to this drug program. I'm going to shower, you know, I'm going to shave, I'm going to eat, get some new clothes, and then I'm going to hit the streets. Because I know who I am, right? I'm an alcoholic. I'm an addict. I'm a criminal. That's who Ivan is at his core. And on that ride there to the treatment center, I was thinking about all of that. I was like, Ivan, you are a criminal. You know, if you leave, you're going to get high. And you're going to commit crimes. And you're going to get caught. Because I have like a shelf life of 3 to 4 months tops on the streets before I get locked back up again. I was like, okay, you know what? You could fake it, you know, you could play their game, you can go through drug treatment and get the courts off your back. So when you get out, you have no tail, and then you can buy yourself some more time. And so I did. I stayed in treatment, right? I picked up the big book. I read some pages. You know, I was the recovering alcoholic. You know, I was the sober guy. I was doing that for 14 months. You know, I started working at this treatment center, right? They started mentoring me. And I can tell you that was the worst 14 months of my life. Every day, I was romanticizing, fantasizing, glorifying the lifestyle, you know, just questioning myself. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why don't you just go back and be who you are? Why do you keep playing this game? Until finally I bought the lie. You know, I bought the lie. I quit, I left, and I immediately went straight back to the riverbed, right? To that bridge, to that tent community that I grew up in. And it was hard. It was super hard. I got there, mind you, I was gone for 14 months already. You know, this community was filled with drug addicts, alcoholics, thieves, criminals. They had all my stuff there. My tent, my tools, my bike, my tarps, everything I needed wrapped up. And when I showed up, they're like, Ivan, you're back. We knew you'd come back. We were waiting for you. And that hit me like a brick. Like, dude, is this all you're worth? Because something happened to me when I was in treatment. Even though I wasn't really working a full program, something happened to me. Because before, I was okay with life. That's the way God wanted me to be, right? I had no choice in the matter. But then I was introduced to Alcoholics Anonymous, and they said, no, you do have a choice in the matter, right? There is another way. There's a path out of this suffering. You just have to make that choice. And so there I was in a tent, you know, getting high with a big book in my hand, trying to figure out, where did I go wrong? What happened? Why didn't AA work for me? And it was right there in We Agnostics. You know, God either is or he isn't. You know, you either choose to put faith in it or you don't. What is your choice? And like that was a light bulb. Because I spent so long fighting that idea of God, right? Of the God my dad told me about. The God my dad taught me about. I didn't want nothing to do with it. I didn't want nothing to do with religion or God. But in that tent at that moment, I was in a place to where I was ready to let go of everything. You know, all my beliefs, everything I thought made me who I was ready to let it all go. And I did. I made that decision in that tent to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I knew it. And it was like a light bulb. Like a light bulb just went off. I immediately knew what I needed to do. I needed to go back to treatment. I needed to get a sponsor. I needed to work these steps like my life depended on it, because it did. And that's exactly what I did. I went and turned myself in. It was hard because I'm not the person to turn yourself in, right? Normally I'm the guy who's catching me when you can.
Yeah.
You know? But I knew I needed a change. And it was tough at first, right? The book all made sense. The steps all made sense to me. You know, it was easy going through them. I worked my steps so fast, my sponsor was surprised. He actually told me to stop calling him because I was calling him like 3 times a day. You know, just asking him questions, finishing one step after the other. You know, and when the time came, 3 months in, I was ready to start working there again because that was my idea. I was going to go back to treatment. I was going to get a job as an RA, you know, and then I was going to become a caseworker. That was my goal. And so when my 3 months came, they're like, Ivan, you're going to go to outpatient. I was like, what do you mean? No, I'm going to work here with you guys. They're like, no, that's not going to happen. And I took it hard. I was like, what do you mean it's not going to happen? I did all the right steps. Dude, I did everything you asked me to. Why? And they told me it's because you haven't really lived a life. You lived one style of life. You don't know what the world has to offer you. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? I know what's out there. There's drugs, there's alcohol, right? There's people who want to get me high. You're like throwing me to the wolves. Like, why can't I just stay here where it's safe? And you're going to see, watch. God has something in store for you, bigger than you know. And I was so upset. I broke down. I stayed in my room for 3 days. I didn't really eat. I didn't really sleep. Because I was like, what am I going to do with my life now? My plan is ruined. And my friend came to me, and I told him everything that I was trying to do, all the people I was trying to talk to, all the steps I took to get what I wanted. And again, he just told me, well, Ivan, it doesn't sound like you're leaving God any room in your life to work. And again, it was like that. I'm like, oh man, he's right. So I took a shower, started going to groups. I left treatment, and my life has never been the same. Dude, so many great things has happened to me in the past 4 years, 4.5 years. My sobriety date is October 9th, 2020. So I have around 4.5 years.
Nice.
In that time, you know, I became a counselor. I became a caseworker. I worked in treatment. It wasn't all I thought it was going to be. You know, I found another path. One of my friends suggested I start going to school. So I enrolled in college at PCC, you know, and I started taking classes. Originally, I started taking psychology because, you know, a step up from counseling is a therapist.
Sure.
So I was taking psychology, and then I took a sociology class, and I learned about delinquency, right, and how societies are formed. And I was like, oh, my God, you know, our entire mental status depends on our surroundings.
Totally.
So if I want to help the individual, I got to help the community. So I started taking sociology, and then I started realizing, like, you know what? Our society is basically just a bunch of policies and laws. If I really want to make a difference, I got to get into policy. So I switched to political science, you know, and that was in 2022. Next month, I will be graduating with an associate's in political science and sociology, and I will be transferring out to UCLA.
Oh, damn.
Right?
Look at you.
I got accepted into every single UC. It was between UCLA and UC Berkeley, you know. And I tell people, look at this. 5 years ago, I was living in a tent underneath a bridge with no hope, no way out, no ambition, nothing. And now I'm going to go work in policy at UCLA. God is good.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Shane?
Oh, it's an amazing story.
All the time.
We're not done yet.
No,
I just
all
you're
the
supposed
time.
to say
I told you. Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay, keep going.
Let's go.
And it's been rocky. The last 4.5 years have been rocky. There's been a lot of trials, right? You know, a lot of low spots. But thankfully to this program, I've always had a way of dealing with those low spots, right? It tells me right there in the book. I love sponsoring people. I love reading the big book. You know, that's my thing. And it's always a tug-of-war battle with me and my higher power. You know, because I still have thoughts, right? I still have goals and ambitions that, oh, I want to go this way, or I want this in my life. And I start working towards it, and God pulls me back, and I start to like tug a war with him. And sometimes he lets go a little bit just for enough for me to fall on my ass.
Yep.
And for me to get the message, okay, all right, I forgot, dude, I'm not in control of this. This is your show, and I'm just the actor. I get it. And through that, just one miracle after the next, you know, and I'm just so grateful for this program for offering me that way out, you know, because like I said, I was in total acceptance of dying in a tent underneath a bridge. And now, thanks to Alcoholics Anonymous, right, thanks to this program, that has all changed, right? It gave me this platform to turn all my pain, misery, and suffering from the last 30 years of my life into experience, strength, and hope for others. You know, that's why one of my greatest things I love to do is doing just this, is sharing my story, sharing my tale, talking about my life, you know, because hopefully it changes somebody, it helps somebody. Because there's plenty of stories out there that have helped me along the way, right? Even on those dark days when I don't want to go to a meeting, I don't want to be around nobody, I force myself to go, and I hear something that just turns everything around, you know? So I want to thank you guys all once again for allowing me to come and be a part of your recovery, because you guys are a huge part of mine. Thank you.
Thank you. So
Right,
good.
that was awesome. I loved it. I told you right away it was going to be good.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Really good. People
Really
were telling
good.
us
I
to
felt
turn
it.
off
Yeah.
the timer.
Yeah.
You know what the funny part about the timer is? We don't run it.
No, we don't.
Joel does.
Joel-
Joel's the in charge.
Yeah, he's in charge. Wow, really,
Really good story,
Ivan.
man.
Very
So
well
good.
spoken. Good for you, bro.
Thank
Good for
Thank
you. Wow. I'm so happy from 5 years ago under a fucking tent. Shit.
Under a
At
tent.
least twice a week, I stop and I try to think about whose life am I living?
Right.
Because it wasn't mine,
Totally.
right? It's a trip.
It's the life you were meant to live, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's a total trip, bro.
You know,
Most
I love
definitely.
stories like
Me
that,
too.
man. It's a lot like my story.
Well, you know what? And I was thinking about the house. 7 kids, meth. They're smoking meth. Of course, there's 7 kids. Surprised there wasn't 17. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right,
You're all
right.
methed up in the house there with your wife. I mean, of course you're going at it day and night. You know.
Of course, that's what you're thinking
Yeah,
about.
of course,
The whole
of
story.
course,
Well,
of
Like,
course.
my
That's
God.
what Shane's thinking about.
I'm just saying.
But I like
It's
that
nonstop.
it's the fact that at the time, even though even in your subconscious you thought like, oh, I'm gonna do this drug court thing,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna shower, I'm gonna do whatever. But after those 14 months, the subconscious already had enough of whatever seeped into your brain that when you did go back to the community, it just doesn't sit right.
No,
It's not the same.
No longer welcome.
And that's what happens usually with people that come into treatment. If you don't get it the first time, when you do go back out there, it's never the same because there is something,
Yeah.
a little glimmer of whatever it is, even if you're just sitting in listening to somebody read a paragraph out of the big book, some little nugget ends up in our brain of some degree. And
Most definitely.
it always ends up somehow,
Yeah.
hopefully clicking when it
Right.
should click.
You got a taste, bro. You got a taste. You couldn't go back.
Yeah,
And
those-
5 years ain't nothing
No.
for the dramatic change from that to the man that's sitting in front of me today.
Yeah.
And that's just a testament of not only you taking the actionable steps to do it because it requires work. And that's the thing is like that's what's hard about the program. I mean, all the cliches are real.
Yeah,
Keep
they
it
are.
simple, stupid. It's an easy program. All the stuff that you hear and you're like, yeah. But it is. It's super easy. But the problem is like it requires effort and work and action.
Yeah, and as humans, we complicate.
100%.
You know, I'll mess up a peanut butter and jelly sandwich
For sure.
straight up.
What do you put on first, the peanut butter or the jelly?
Peanut butter.
So it's peanut butter, jelly, and then you put the bread on top.
Yeah. But exactly. Yeah, because you can't.
Love
The
that.
jelly slides
That's
easier.
for sure an addict right there. For sure an addict right there. Dude, great story, incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the thing, your life's just beginning.
Oh, for sure.
This is just the beginning. There's so much more. So much more will be revealed, and I hope that everybody. There's a lot of hands up, and I was reading comments and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
there is a lot of hands. Oh my gosh.
I was reading a lot of the comments, and it's just incredible, man. I hope that what people get out of this is hope. That if we keep doing the next indicated step, we get to where you're at. Honestly, think about it. How often does an addict under a bridge get into UCLA or any UC school for that matter? And if anybody knows anything about UC schools, they're the hardest to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be a resident in California and get into a UC. Like, my son had a 4.7 grade point average. I mean, not 4.7. He had a 4.4. He couldn't get into any UC school. A little bit harder as a freshman, but like,
Yeah, it's crazy. When they sent me the email, they said something like 28,000 people applied.
Yeah.
And only 2,000
Yeah.
get picked.
Yeah. It's
think
insane.
about that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we can accomplish great things sober.
Yeah, and it tells us all right there in the book.
It does.
Things beyond our wildest
Yes.
dreams, right? Things we can't even think are possible.
Dude, it's in scripture. It's one of my favorite verses.
So there it is.
It's amazing. Like, if you put it down on paper, a dream or a desire or whatever is on your heart, God's gonna take that, knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
He'll run with it for sure.
One of my favorite sayings from Alcoholics Anonymous, and you can apply this in any area of your life. I've noticed that most of the stuff in Alcoholics Anonymous you can apply in anywhere of
for
your
sure.
life. But if you want what we have, you'll do what we do.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And then the flip side of that coin is if you want to keep having what you've
Yeah.
getting what you've always got, keep doing what you've
Totally.
always done.
right?
You're not killing it, dog. Like you're not winning.
Not winning.
Yeah.
If you don't change anything, nothing's gonna change.
Totally.
Yeah, but what's kind of cool, and I love the change thing, right? Because like I did so much work, and when I got into rehab and I worked the 12 steps and I finally like did the work, right? And they were like, you know, the one thing you have to change is everything. And I did all the work. And the one thing that changed was my perception of reality.
Yeah.
And when my perception of reality changed,
Yeah,
it was
everything.
everything around me changed. So I really changed one thing.
Right.
But that one thing changed everything.
Most definitely. I love that last part of the acceptance. Right. Don't worry so much on what needs to be changed in other people and in the world around me. Focus on what needs to be changed in me.
100%. Because you can control that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't control you or others.
Yeah.
The serenity
can-
prayer is amazing, huh?
Yeah.
I always think about that when we're saying it, because the part where it says, you know, the things that we can change.
Yep.
And then the other part, I'm always like, Shane, I can't. There's nothing I can do. Nothing.
Nothing. And once you understand that there's nothing I can do about this, it just gets so much simpler.
It does.
It's like, okay, well, that's not my place. Why am I going to worry
I'm powerless over that.
Powerless. Okay, we got 6 hands up, 7 hands up. Matt?
Shane-
9.
Oh.
Nine hands, and we
Nine
have.
hands.
Oh, you know what? We have only 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
know.
God. Okay.
Big Trouble
go.
in Little China.
All right,
Hey, Matt.
Matt.
What up, family? How you doing?
Excellent.
Hey.
Matt, a grateful recovering addict. I'm not even gonna use my whole 3 minutes, so that way other people get to go. But
Right on.
my man, great share, and that definitely resonated with me heavily. And I get it, man, when you said that, the part where you were talking about you getting high and people around you, telling you that you had to do better, and you went elsewhere to be around other people who were like that. And I never went to go live under a tent. I chose to live in my car for a while. Slept in an abandoned jail in Newark, New Jersey for a while. But just stopping wasn't in the cars, man. I had no interest in stopping. It'd be 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still looking for more. Only problem I ever had with drugs was when they ran out. For real. And and I was still searching for more while everybody else was, turning in to go to bed and whatever else. I was like, what do you guys mean? No, it's not time to stop. But there's there's definitely hope, man. And to say that, after 5 years ago living in the tent, man, and what you're doing now is a testament to how much this program does work. And it's an amazing blessing. God's an amazing blessing for bringing us out of that dark place, for sure. And I look at that with my own life, man. 3 years ago, like today, 3 years ago, I was still in rehab, and now I'm an electrical engineer at my job.
Yeah.
Like,
Go.
like what? I don't even have an electrical engineering degree, which is nuts. But I do well enough there, and they saw what they saw, and put me in place. And well, they didn't put me in place. God did.
There you go.
It's a fact. But anyway, man, this shit works, man. Keep fucking working. Don't ever give up on yourself. The world is a better place with you in it. Love you guys.
Thanks, man.
Love
Love
you,
you too,
Matt.
buddy. Take it easy. I'm joking. I was teasing. Come on.
You're
Can I
not.
have fun?
Jerry.
Jerry.
Clearly, you guys know Shane's on a roll because
Jerry,
we
you got 3 minutes and 51 seconds because Matt gave you 50 seconds.
Thank you for sharing. I related to a lot, because you talked about my choice of drug, crystal meth. Like I say to my sponsor, I don't like it. I fucking love it, because I go any length to chase my fucking high. I'm a year, 1 month, and 12 days clean.
Yeah.
Not a boy,
Yeah.
Jerry.
Congratulations.
Yeah, there you go.
Not a boy.
Thank for all thanks to God. I got it related to me with also a lot, because it's you said going to treatment. I've been in treatments 5 fucking times, and I've done it every time. I've done the work, the basic level work, and it always gone out. I always found an excuse why to go out, To this point, I no longer live with my mother. I still live in the sober living, pay cash, get for the first time in over 5 years, I'm back in being responsible. I pay rent, go to work. I have two jobs. I work in sales and I work in treatment and overnight. I love it. You know, being able to see the guys, the girls come in and out, how they feel, how they are, and how they look now. 2 months, 3 months after that, they're like amazing. You know, and it's like it's all thanks to God. You know, because like it's like how in the book says. Uh, the director wants to direct the show, but starts blaming each one of us, you know, and that's how I was doing in my life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I know I want to direct my show, but it's your fault. It's God is your fault. This is why I'm going through this, you know, because it's your fault, and it's it was my fault. You know, like I used to I was getting high in front of my sister, my brother, in their house while they're awake or were sleeping. I didn't care. I was getting high on them, in front of them, uh, stealing from them. You know, got to the point that I started living in my car for 2 years, getting high in my car, eating like shit. You know, it like to the point now, like I turned my life to the care of God. I, and I get to wake up sober. I get to eat where I want to eat. You know, shower when I want to shower. Go to work. You know, and it's like it's all thanks to this program. You know, it's being vulnerable, and when I need to being uncomfortable to be comfortable. And this is what God has taught me this time. You know, I read the Bible every day before I go to sleep, and when I wake up, I read it again. You know, and it's all God's work, man. So thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jer.
Love it, Jerry.
Love it. Kristen, how you doing?
Coach Kristen.
Was popping. That was weird. You said Kristen without the coach in front of
I
it.
said coach.
No, Shane
Yeah.
said.
Oh, Shane is a mess.
Oh, that's yeah. Shane said
Shane's a mess.
that's
Hey, it's
Disregard.
yeah. Disregard. Coach Kristen. What's
What's
poppin'?
okay. And brand new what just happened. No, I'm just kidding. Every time. Man, I just want to say thanks for your share. Like yesterday, I just want to say like yesterday was like the shittiest day. So much shit happened yesterday, and I was praying. I was like, God, like literally, I gave you like control and nothing is working. Like literally how you say like what am I gonna do with my life now? My plan's ruined. I was like, oh, my plan's ruined again. And I was like, God, I literally like accepted the fact that like what is happening in my life is happening.
Mm-hmm.
But then like another thing came up and another one and another one. Like all this stuff started coming up and I was like, I don't understand why this isn't happening. And then literally when you said like it doesn't like somebody told you it doesn't seem like you're leaving any room for God to work. Like I don't know why, but literally it just hit me. I was like, holy shit. Like I literally I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving God room to work. I'm leaving God room to work. No, I'm literally not. Like like 80% not leaving him room to work because I am still trying to take control of things that's going on in my life. Even though, like, yes, I have a sponsor. Yes, I started working the steps, but it's also like I just need to let go of that, like, last 1% of control, which is scary as heck. And I mean, I admit that I'm hella scared to do that, but it's super encouraging to hear, like, what you've done and how far you've come and how, like, even accomplished you are to this day and how much you're going to be accomplished even more like in the future. Like it's just super encouraging to hear that because I have that hope, you know what I mean? But it's also like you definitely helped me realize like that 1% I still have to let go. So I just want to say thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Love you, Coach Kristen.
Jesse.
Jesse.
What's up, guys? Wow. Jesse. I'm an addict that identifies as an alcoholic. Um, what an amazing share. God, I relate to the growing up abnormally, but being convinced that it's normal, right? I had a parents got divorced at like 2 when I was 2. And yeah, my dad was alcoholic. Like my first memories of him was like him being hungover, sleeping on the couch, and me going to visit him, and like that was normal. Like I don't know who thought it was okay to tell, a 5-year-old like, yeah, that's your dad. He's hungover. He's sleeping it off. Like, but yeah, that was normal. That was normal, and um, like breaking that cycle, of like all that trauma, all that childhood trauma. Um, it's not easy, but it's good to know, I'm not alone. And honestly, your story made me think about my brother. He unfortunately didn't make it out from under that bridge. He was homeless for a long time, fighting the addiction, and yeah, fentanyl took his life. So it's super fucking inspiring and amazing to hear a story like yours, to hear where you came from and the work you put in to get to where you are. It's just amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And that little bit that Coach Kristen was talking about, that leaving God room in your life to work. Man, what an amazing little blip. Because like that little saying right there that you shared is gonna, it's like it. Oh, leaves me speechless. It's fucking amazing. Like I gotta write it down and remind myself that, because so many times I'm doing what you're doing, playing tug of war with God, thinking like, oh well, I need to just put more work in because this is what God wants for me, even though it's really what I want. And then God just lets go a little, and I fall on my ass, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck happened? How did I lose my job? Like I was doing so good, and yeah, wow, just a very, very powerful share. So thank you very much. I love all of you guys.
No,
We
thank
love you,
you.
Jesse.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse.
Deborah.
Deborah, what's going on?
Hey, Deborah, alcoholic addict. Great share. Congratulations on college. It's amazing. It's amazing. I I know I only have a really quick moment to share. I've never been on this meeting. I'm kind of on the struggle bus for this past year. My first addiction was to drugs when I was 28, and that up until 28, alcohol really meant nothing to me. But once I got my hands on this drug, I was like, it took over. And so that took me out so fast. It was like about a good 2.5, 3 years. It took me out. It was straightforward to the point, took me out. And got away from that. And not in any way normal. I didn't know about recovery or anything like that. I just stopped. I had a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the middle of the night, you guys, and it is the peanut butter first. But then I struggled after I started drinking, and I would get drunk fast, and I was like, what's going on? Like, what is this? So fast forward to 20 some years later, no kidding. I'm struggling with the addiction of alcohol. And it's a slow and cunning and baffling thing for me because I was more of a binge drinker when that really took off, started binging. And I didn't realize that addiction, once it's turned on, it's just turned on. I didn't know about cross addiction or anything like that. But once I decided, oh shit, when I drink and I binge and I implode, I'm like, a lot of bad things are happening, like jail, like DUIs. I mean, this is not good. Once I started to realize that, the obsession started to kick in more. I wanted to drink more. I wanted to drink more often because I knew I shouldn't. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now. I've had more sober time than I've had drinking time in the past 2 years. I have 54 days today, but it would
Nice.
be more or less me going out for like a couple of days and I just come right back. So that's a miracle to have more sober time than drinking time. But this thing about the God thing, the deity thing, praying to deity, like I struggle with that because I don't know. I don't feel like my belief system that it's an operation in the way that, I used to think God operated. Like I used to be a super fundamentalist Christian and I grew up Jehovah's Witness. So all that said, I've got a lot of religious trauma. I ain't gonna lie, but once I came into AA, they're like, okay, time's up. I'll just share it in another meeting.
Deborah, put your
But
number
thanks
in the
for letting
chat.
me share.
Deborah, put your number in the chat, or
Okay.
direct message the Hopeaholics or myself to keep in contact with you. Welcome to the meeting, and I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm glad that you're sharing because that's where it starts. You're in the right spot. Chuck?
I just got a text
What's
from
going
my.
on, everybody?
I'll wait till Chuck's done.
Hi, Chuck.
You good? What's going on, everybody? I'm still driving, so I figured I'd make it really quick tonight. Ivan, I love how you talked about we agnostics tonight in that chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And that chapter, for me, really opened up the doors of let me understand what early direction was and is, and how it's affected my life up to today. And, I don't work a perfect program all the time. I have flaws. I'm human. But as long as I work with God, walk side by side with it, it's given me a life beyond the wildest dreams. And then listening to your share, it has given you the life beyond your wildest dreams so far. And I tell you, man, just keep working that. Keep working it. Keep doing it. And if you think it's good now, it's going to be a hell of a lot better later. So that's all I got to share.
Love you, Chuck.
Awesome. Thank you, Chuck.
Oh, yeah, you guys, make sure that you add, how do you do it? Just so that we're in the group, on the Hopeaholics, like how we all...
You know what's the easiest is if you guys DM. If you want to join
It's really good.
our group chat that we have on Instagram, if you'll just DM the Hopeaholics, it's so much easier for me to add you that way.
Okay.
And then I can add you to the group chat. It's getting pretty big. It's fun. I love it.
Me too.
Like I literally love it.
Mm-hmm.
I also just got a text from my daughter right now that after 2.5 years, they arrested the guy that sold my son-in-law fentanyl.
Amazing.
Today.
God is good.
Mm-hmm.
His name's Diego Hernandez.
Well, we can pray for him and his family.
Yeah. Patrick.
Hey, what's up? Hey, Ivan, man, I just want to say, dude, I really resonated with you. I was that guy that kid that you came and visited, that came from the house that the mom was there cooking dinner and whatnot and this and that. But ultimately, man, I ended up doing all the same, everything you did, all the same drugs, everything. Now I didn't end up homeless and all that, but this disease, it doesn't discriminate, man. Yep. It gets us all. And, yeah, really good story. But then, our pain, all the suffering we go through, all the pain is the same, right? But then when we find God and we truly give our lives up to God and let him take control, man, those stories are the same as well. So today I'm able to live life free of drugs and alcohol. I give a big thanks to Hopeaholics even. I was running the California sober for the last 8 years. And, I haven't had any drugs or alcohol in the last 8 years. But I've just been smoking weed for the last 30. And I kept hearing Chad always saying, saying in the podcast, California sober, whatever you do is cool. But, I just wonder if these guys give up everything, and live this sober life. So my medical card ran out. I told my wife, I was like, well, I'm gonna give this a shot for the first time, 30 years smoke.
No. I think he froze.
Oh no. Damn, and it was getting good.
Plus, nothing's been amazing.
Wait, Patrick, you froze. Wait, go back. You froze.
He froze.
Here, I'm going back.
There you go. Perfect.
You said you froze
right
for
when
at least for us right when your medical card expired and you told your wife you were going. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. So the medical card, yeah, 9 months ago, I quit smoking weed, and life has just changed, man.
Oh,
God has
damn.
blessed me so many times over. My career's changed.
Wow.
Just everything, man. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not pissed off. I don't think that I'm a worthless piece of shit. I mean, all the thoughts that I had, all the suicidal thoughts I had daily. I mean, they're just gone. Everything's gone, and I owe that to God first. But
Sure.
then Hopeaholics, man. I'm addicted to Hopeaholics.
That a
So
baby.
thank
That a
thank
baby.
you, and man, y'all, everybody else, hang in there. You'll find your way, and the other side is amazing.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
There we go. Thank
I
you.
love that.
I
That a boy, Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick, congratulations on that. I really love hearing that.
Yeah.
But you know what? One of the things that that kind of is unique about the Hopeaholics, man. There's no judgment here.
Zero.
Like literally no judgment. And
That's because do you see us? Do you hear us? We're messes.
like yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
The
and God
last
and,
people.
and God is good, man. Like God is good, and God is like giving us these crazy tools, and we get to do this, and we're still crazy.
Yeah.
But man, I always do. I say stuff like, give it a shot. Give full sobriety a shot,
Just to
because what if?
And what do you got to lose?
What do
Right.
you have to lose? Because you can always go back to smoking
Always.
weed.
Yep.
Always go back to it.
Yep. If that's not working, or if this isn't working, Lauren, we just had you on last week. You were sitting right here
Yes.
in studio, and here you are.
Here you are.
Stoked to have you.
Hey Chad, Shane, Natalie, and Ivan. What's up? I just want to let you know I related to a lot of what you shared, especially walking into the studio, not knowing what the hell is going on. Because you asked you to speak, and you're just like, "Where's all the people at? Like, what is this? Like, okay, let me put this headphone on. I have like a couple cameras facing me. Who am I talking to?
Yeah. Where do
It's
I
super
look?
weird." But at a meeting when you thought your life had no purpose before. Like I wanted to end my life multiple times. Like I have no purpose on this earth, but to be asked to share your experience, strength, and hope because you gave AA a shot. I found I trusted. I knew God my whole life and pray this and pray that. I blamed him and all that. But and yeah, everyone, I'll pray. Well, pray about it. Praying's not doing nothing. But then through AA, I really got a relationship with God.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Yep.
Found
Yeah.
God. People, I don't know what I don't know what I used to think AA was, a bunch of old men smoking cigarettes. Like I hated it. I was in and out of the rooms because of DUIs, and I would have dry years where I didn't need to drink, but I wasn't working on recovery, fixing what the traumas that made me drink. But life has been completely different. Like I've been in and out of AA, and you go and compare, and then you start to actually listen, and like you said, like even when you feel like shit, yeah, you never regret going to church. You never feel like shit leaving a meeting. You get something out of it, but you're only going to get something out of it if you go to with that mindset that okay, I need to go. What can I get out of this, right? But yeah, congratulations on not being under the freeway in a tent, having a roof over your head, having an impact, being asked to be a speaker at a meeting. Like what? My story matters, you know. Like just by speaking, I'm helping people. Like what is this nonsense? Like this is crazy, right? Beyond your wildest dreams, and then getting accepted to UCLA. But these are just baby samples of what God has planned.
The
I love. There's this song by Tori. I can't his name. Torin. I can't think of his name, but pretty much, if you're not dead, God's not done. There's a reason you didn't. You're not still there. There's a reason you're still alive. There's a reason you got into UCLA. There's a reason you're on Hopeaholics right now. Everyone in this room, like, no matter what you're going through, you got to think you overcame 100% of the bullshit that you've been through. So life is never going to stop lifing, but you're either going to do it with God and support on your side, or you're going to keep doing it on your own. And like they said, the drugs are there, the drinking's there, but I'm reminded I'm going through hell right now. But I know if I drink, it's going to be worse, and I won't be able to fight back what I have to, get up and do right now. But like I've I've overcame 100% of the bullshit I've been through. So have you. And if you're not dead, God's not done. Everyone in this room.
Love
That's
it.
all.
Amen.
Amen.
Sebastian,
Sebastian.
is it good? Are we good? Can you see Sebastian? It's not.
Yeah,
I
like-
can see him.
Oh, there we
I'm
go.
here.
Okay.
This story, I don't even know if I can get it finished in 3 minutes, but I'll start from the beginning. My dad, my biological father, he was a drug addict and alcoholic. He had bipolar schizophrenia, and those things I got as well. He'd smoke, he'd do all that shit in the room by me as a baby, and my mom made the choice to up and leave him. Uh, I go on through life without a father for a while, and then my stepdad comes into the picture. I never really listened to him because I did not care. I did not trust any man. I made myself a promise that I'd never do drugs or alcohol because I don't want to become the same man my father became. 13, I got into, I don't know what I'd call it. Uh, I got very pissed off at the world and I started acting out and everything. I still went to church and everything. I made some bad decisions, which therefore led me to spend the next 9 years in mental health. Uh, I I went to high school. I was doing good. I was doing great. I was actually happy for once again. Then uh, COVID hit and the hurricanes hit, and I got the news that both my grandparents died. And for 3 days and 3 nights, I completely turned off my humanity. I turned it all off. I put shackles around my heart, all that. I didn't allow myself to feel any emotion. And then 2 days before high school started, my senior year of high school, I had lost pretty much all my friends because they had all moved. I had no one. I was by myself. So, 2 nights before my senior year of high school, I was going to snap my neck, and I did. I snapped my neck, and I don't even know how I'm still alive. I woke up alive, and I realized that I'm still here for some reason. Because, you snap your neck, you're pretty much dead. So I cried, begged out for a sign, anything. Then I met someone, and she reminded me of my grandmother and everything. And now I'm a small time content creator, motivational speaker on Instagram, and I'm still suffering. Half the time I know what I'm going to do with my day, and then half the time I don't, but I know where I'm going. I know what my calling is. And my 3 minutes are up.
Thank you, Sebastian. Appreciate you, man.
Mm-hmm.
We've got iPhone user. Emily's scared to unmute the iPhone user.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they left.
Because if you guys have been here before,
We don't want to know.
shit has happened, man.
And not
People
good.
have been putting some porn up in there.
Yeah. Kathy, bring us on home. Come on, girl. Bring us on home.
You guys make me laugh. Kathy, alcoholic.
Kathy.
There, Ivan. Keep going, Sebastian. Thanks for being brave and sharing. Ivan, wow, I still have a lot of yets. But I mean, I too started drinking. I think I was about 12. But I mean, if I went out again, I think I would end up homeless for sure. So much recovery, even, the people, you have a backslide, keep going. I'm reading all the shares and the chat, and everybody is so encouraging here. Rachel, that story about a baby, when the baby's learning to walk
right?
and they fall down. That's awesome analogy. I mean, Hopeaholics has really taken my recovery to a new place. I mean, I'm looking forward to doing a Zoom speaker meeting with Jerry coming up in June, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm volunteering. That's awesome. I came across some journals from 1988, back when I was 19 years old
Wow.
today. And I was only brave enough to read the first couple pages, but I didn't know what was going on then. I didn't know that I was in the grips of alcoholism. I was using cocaine, but I mean, I was crying out to God back in 1988. Like, I know I'm falling short, etc. And Jesse had mentioned something. I don't know if it's out of line to ask. I just think our hearts are so there with you, Chad, that if you could share with us a little bit how getting that message from your daughter makes you feel. Maybe it's not appropriate, but anyway, just wanted to send out the love and thanks for being here, everybody. And hi to my brother.
Yes.
And both my brother and I have red backgrounds. He's anyway, I love you guys so much. Ivan, congratulations.
Yeah.
UCLA.
I
Oh my
know.
God.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, but thank you very much, you guys. I love you all.
Thank you, Kathy. We love you.
I can answer that question. I mean, I have mixed feelings about it because like I'm an addict. I was a drug dealer, a terrible one. Fentanyl didn't exist. I think it's a pretty major crime to sell fentanyl these days, to be honest with you. But I hope that the guy finds God and that he doesn't have
Amen.
to spend the rest of his life in prison.
That's right.
And if he does, and that's God's plan, it is what it is. I 110% forgive the person. Justin, made his decisions as well and his choices cost him his life. He wasn't an unknowing participant.
Sure.
I do believe that that the sales of fentanyl should be attempted murder, because fentanyl, there is no safe dose of illicit fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
If you're knowingly selling fentanyl, you know that you're potentially putting somebody's life at risk.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely.
And so I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. I'm not one of those people that want to see this guy spend the rest of his life in prison. What I want to see is that he finds recovery, he finds God, and he finds a new way of life. And that's the truth.
I will say, I want to just touch on it because the way that you're able to respond to something like that is because of the tremendous amount of work you've done since that tragedy to be at a place to say that you want this individual to find God, to be okay. Because we all know if we don't, it immediately goes into the other opposite. So it just is a testament of like through tragedy is like it brought your relationship with your own higher power incredibly tighter for you to respond in such a gracious way. And that's how Jesus would respond, in my eyes.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Did that guy still want to share?
Yeah, I'm still on mute.
All right.
iPhone?
Yeah, iPhone.
His name's Ivan.
Ivan.
Ivan. You're back.
Hi, everyone.
Bring us on home.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Hi. I keep. Let me get up. Well, it's a blessing to be here. I appreciate you guys for having me. I could definitely relate to Sebastian and Ivan because, well, it all started when when I grew up. I lived in a normal household, but then when my parents divorced, things started to change. My mom started to get stressed out. Things happened that I did not understand as a kid. When my mom got divorced, we lived in a small town, but my mom didn't want to put me in that area because for some reason, I just don't know. I couldn't go to that school, so we went from programs. We tried to go to mom tried to look for a outreach program, and she did. And before any of this happened, I was living with my aunt in this small town. And when I was 7, a wicked situation happened, and I couldn't process it as a kid because I didn't know what it was. And it was just I just try to forget about it. You know, I try to push it away, and you know, I just didn't know who to tell. I didn't know who to go to, and you know, it stuck with me, you know. Um uh so my mom, so we lived in a shelter, then we moved to some apartments in a city, and there I started to, you know, struggle in school and really not understand. You know, I was just trying to forget about what happened, you know. So I go on about my life, and then it wasn't until I was 17 where I started to try to escape this what happened and try to go to alcohol. And you know, I felt like Sebastian. Like, I felt like I had to put shackles around my heart. I felt like I had to do that. And I started to, you know, get drunk and black out because of this, because I wasn't telling anybody of this. So it all started when I put a rosary under my bed, and everything started to open my eyes. Everything, like everything. I started to understand the Word of God. I started to pay attention to Mass. I was more motivated to be an alto server. Um, I it led me to Isaiah to understand the destruction of Jerusalem, and the new Lamb of God, which is Jesus Christ. And that's what helped me, and it helped me understand. Can I have it talk a little bit more, just 30 seconds?
30 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, so it helped me just, you know, really understand, you know, and it really helped me understand why the world is what it is. And now I'm getting back on my feet, and I'm like, it's just been a blessing. Like, it's just I've yeah, it's just yeah, that's just my story.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro.
Miss Sober, we see you.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name's Michelle, and I actually heard about this NA meeting from a new therapist who you guys interviewed on your podcast,
Oh, nice.
Brian Luciana or something. He wrote that book about
Oh, yeah.
getting your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he told me about it, and I was just able to catch like the last 10 minutes. So I'm not really sure what the topic is, but I just wanted to say hi and thank you for welcoming me. And what a cool group. And I can't wait to be a part of it. And I think you guys may also have some in-person meetings on Friday. So yeah, thank you.
Amazing.
Awesome. Thank
Awesome.
you
Thank you
for
so much.
sharing on your first time in the meeting.
Yes.
We really appreciate
Welcome,
that.
welcome, welcome.
We have our next, so we do a once a month meeting. We are taking the month of May off, but we have a big one.
June 20th.
June 20th. It'll be a luau in person. It's going to be the big.
I'm wearing a skirt and coconuts. My mom's on here, so you're coming too, Mom.
Really?
You better be wearing your coconuts.
You know what?
too.
I'll do that. I'll wear a skirt with coconuts.
You're just
I'll
gonna
join.
wear. You're just gonna wear one
We'll do
coconut.
it. We'll do another. We'll do another.
Shane's gonna wear one coconut.
Yeah.
Actually, 3. I'll wear 3.
Sorry for
Yeah.
anybody that's new. We're like
Sorry, Mom.
we're like
Nuts.
really crazy.
We're cocoa nuts.
We're nuts.
Cocoa nuts.
Amy's with it. She already put 3 coconuts up in the chat.
Yeah, there you go, Amy.
That's how we roll.
And Rachel's down too, because she's like, absolutely not.
Rachel's like does not want to see Shane
No.
in a coconut.
But yes, once a month.
Once a month,
Yeah.
in person.
June
Recover
20th.
out loud.
June 20th, mark your calendars. It's a big one.
It's a big one. We have a DJ,
Uh-huh.
a dance floor.
Uh-huh.
What else?
We're doing it
Wine
big.
food?
We have. I think we're gonna have a real pig. You know the real,
Yeah, like
Oink.
the real one,
Mom,
man.
they're thinking about roasting
Like
a
on a
pig,
stick
so
and
Neil and
everything?
everybody.
Yeah.
A little Turner.
Yeah, well, we won't have the Turner because we don't have
Lauren,
all that
it starts
stuff.
at
But
6 p.m.
it's gonna be 5 to 9.
Okay, 5 to 9. It's gonna be a big shindig.
Yep,
Um,
it's gonna
Thank
be
you.
a big one. Shane's gonna wear his grass skirt.
Yeah, I got one.
I should have never said that. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Too late now. It's
Um,
happening.
Okay, everybody, you know what time it is. Turn on that camera. 'Cause watch
everybody. Yeah, you tell them. You know
No,
what?
I
I
don't
need
want
you.
to.
I no. You
It's
need
not
to
true.
tell them. Tell them all the
Yeah,
truth.
True.
Tell them.
Yeah, you're not. It's you
It's
know
the only meeting that
in the
in the
in
universe.
the universe
the galaxy actually.
in
We
the
changed
galaxy
it to the
that
galaxy.
that actually goes out and ends their meeting like the way.
Yeah,
that we
we're
do.
the only ones. Miss Sober, you don't want to miss this. You got to turn
Yeah.
your camera on. You got to put your hands up.
Yep.
Oh, her camera is on. I totally thought that was
Wow.
a picture.
Hands
Hands up in the air,
up in the
everybody.
air.
Let's go, baby. Let's
We're
dance
about
it
to
out.
do this. We are the
Where's
only
the music?
ones.
We're dancing with no music. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. God,
God,
grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
the
the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to
know the difference.
Amen.
Wow.
That's
I love
terrible.
you, Mom. I love you, Mom.
We
I know,
all-
I got-
Bye, Mom.
I got distracted by my mom.